Hello, I'm Captain Jack and welcome to the Hangar Bay. On this channel, we take a deep dive into the best starships, technology, and more from your favourite sci-fi universes. Today, we're talking about the Battle of Scarif. This is one of the first major battles of the Galactic Civil War in Star Wars, fought between the Alliance to restore the Republic and the Galactic Empire above the Imperial Controlled world of Scariff. While a very interesting battle, today we're looking at every starship which took part in the battle. The Rebel fleet went in full force against the surprised Imperial Garrison. It was mostly a success for the Rebels, but what ships did each side use? Let's take a look. Remember to hit that subscribe button for the latest videos. While you're watching, answer this question in the comments. Which side of this battle would you rather fight on? The Rebels or the Empire? Comment below. And let us know what you think of these ships in the comments below as well. The Rebels' flagship was the MC-75 Profundity Star Cruiser, commanded by Admiral Raddus. This ship operated as a Rebel flagship and was where Raddus would coordinate his attack. At a length of 1,204.44 meters and a height of 435.56 meters, the Profundity was of Mon Calamari design. Like many Mon Calamari star cruisers, it originally started as a building on the underwater world. The Profundity was the civic governance tower of the city of Nystulum. Like many Mon Calamari buildings, the tower was converted into a ship and eventually formed part of the Exodus fleet that departed from the Mon Calamari homeworld under Raddus, the city's mayor. When the Profundity joined the Alliance, it was one of the first ships to be converted into a warship. The Profundity featured a heavy armament of 20-point defense laser cannons, 12 turbo laser cannons, 4 ion cannons, 12 proton torpedo launchers, and 6 tractor beam projectors. The typical crew complement of the ship was around 3,225 personnel. During the battle, Raddus successfully coordinated significant strikes against the Imperial Garrison, while Rogue One secured the Death Star plans on the surface of Scariff. The Profundity oversaw the successful destruction of 2 Imperial Star Destroyers and the planet's shield gateway, when Raddus ordered a Hammerhead Corvette to ram one of the disabled Star Destroyers. Eventually, Rogue One was successful and the Death Star plans were transmitted to Profundity. Unfortunately, before the crews and the fleet could leave, the ship was intercepted by the arrival of the Imperial Star Destroyer Devastator, under the command of Darth Vader. The IC destroyed several Rebel small craft and incapacitated the Profundity. Vader boarded the ship and killed most of the crew. He was too late to secure the Death Star plans, as the Profundity had kept the Corellian CR90 Corvette, the Tantive IV, docked in its launch bay. The Rebels escaped with the plans, while the Profundity and her crew died as heroes, giving themselves to a Rebel cause. Once Vader and his boarding party had left the ship, the Profundity was destroyed, presumably by the Devastator. As I just mentioned the Tantive IV, let's talk about the blockade runners. At least 6 CR90 Corellian Corvettes took part in the Battle of Scarif. Measuring 150 meters in length, 48.6 meters in width, and 32.6 meters in height, the frame of a CR90 Corvette extends to a massive bank of 11 ion turbine drives. Weapon-wise, the CR90's standard configuration consisted of dorsal and ventral dual turbo laser turrets and turbo laser cannons installed. The secondary configuration of a Corvette can consist of 6 dual turbo laser turrets. A third configuration consists of 1 dorsal quad laser turret, 1 ventral dual turbo laser turret, a port and starboard laser cannon, and 4 turbo laser cannons. Finally, the fourth armament configuration consisted of 3 dorsal and ventral dual turbo laser turrets and 6 turbo laser cannons. It's unknown which specific configuration of the CR90 took part in the battle. However, with 6 of these Corvettes present, it's possible a combination of all took part. During the engagement, the CR90 Corvettes would take on the role of anti-fighter ships, successfully taking out many Imperial TIE fighters. At least 1 CR90 Corvette was destroyed in the battle. 2 more CR90s were still present when the Imperial Star Destroyer Devastator arrived and engaged the remaining fleet. It is unknown if either of these 2 managed to escape. We know that at least 1 unidentified CR90 survived the Battle of Scarif, and would serve the rebellion throughout the Galactic Civil War until the Battle of Jakku. The ship then served the Resistance in 34 ABY, working alongside Commander Poe Dameron and General Leia Organa. Another CR90 can be seen jumping to hyperspace just before Vader's arrival. The Tantive IV did not actually take part in the Battle of Scarif. Well, technically it did, but it did not do any fighting. It was previously docked aboard the Rebel flagship, Profundity, awaiting repairs, having sustained heavy damage in an earlier engagement. When Admiral Raddus jumped to Scariff to aid Rogue One, the Tantive IV and Princess Leia Organa were taken along with it. However, while not originally scheduled to be there, the presence of the Tantive IV ultimately won the day. While the Profundity and the remaining Rebel fleet would fall victim to the arrival of Darth Vader and his Star Destroyer, several Rebel officers managed to download a complete set of the stolen Death Star plans to a data disk and evacuate to the Tantive IV, just as Lord Vader began rampaging down the corridor. The Tantive IV successfully detached from the hangar bay of the Profundity and escaped the Imperial grasp. If you want to see a complete breakdown of a Corellian CR90 Corvette design, history, and more, hit that subscribe button. A video will be on the Hangar Bay channel very soon. At least 3 EF-76 Nebulon-B Escort frigates took part in the battle. These would be a common sight amongst the forces of the Rebel Alliance. At a length of 300 meters, the Nebulon-B was armed with 12 X-17 turbolasers, 12 laser cannons, 2 tractor beam projectors, and some variants had torpedo or missile launchers installed. The escort frigates arrived with a fleet and made short work of some TIE fighters and the unprepared Imperial fleet. However, with the launch of endless waves of TIE fighters, one of the Nebulon-B frigates took heavy damage. The Star Destroyer Devastator caught one Nebulon-B as the rebel fleet tried to escape. This Nebulon frigate was positioned next to a Profundity as the Devastator opened fire and ripped through the hull, causing the frigate to split in half and be destroyed. It's unknown whether the other Nebulon-B frigates survived the engagement. 4 Braha'tok-class gunships were present at Scariff during the battle. At a length of 90 meters, this gunship model was initially built and designed by the Dornian Fleetworks conglomerate to protect the Dornian homeworld from the Galactic Empire. Eventually, following a secret treaty, these gunships began serving with the rebel fleet. These gunships would be armed with 8 concussion missile launchers and 8 double turbolaser cannons, along with a complement of 2 starfighters. This made them very effective in anti-starfighter and escorts for larger capital ship roles. In this case, the MC-75 Profundity. At the end of the battle, at least one Dorian gunship managed to avoid the arrival of the Devastator. 2 gunships remained when the Star Destroyer engaged the remaining rebel starships. It is presumed that both were lost with all hands. One of the most instrumental ship classes of the Battle of Scarif was the Sphyrna-class Hammerhead Corvette. At least 3 of these ships took part in the battle. At a length of 116.7 meters, the Hammerhead Corvette was armed with 2 heavy forward-mounted laser cannons, 1 dorsal turret-mounted twin light turbolaser battery, and potentially 4 module-mounted twin light turbolaser batteries. At least 1 Hammerhead Corvette survived the Battle of Scarif. We know the Constance was one of the corvettes. This Hammerhead fought during the engagement and successfully escaped alongside several rebel starfighters just before Darth Vader's devastated Star Destroyer arrived and intercepted the remaining rebel fleet. The Lightmaker was a rebel Hammerhead that rammed the disabled Imperial Star Destroyer Persecutor and caused it to crash into the other destroyer, the Intimidator. The Lightmaker had previously sustained heavy damage during the engagement, before this bold move. Under Radis' orders, the Lightmaker was evacuated of all non-essential personnel, leaving just a skeleton crew behind. The Corvette rammed the Star Destroyer and successfully pushed it into the Intimidator, causing massive destruction. The Lightmaker was lost during this move. The Rebel Alliance utilised many GR-75 transport ships. At least 12 of these were present at the battle. At a length of 90 meters, the GR-75 class was a lightly armed transport featuring only 4 twin laser cannons. The Alliance would use this transport ship as fire support. 2 of these ships were destroyed during the battle. The most well-known destruction is seen when Lord Vader's Star Destroyer, the Devastator, arrives and catches a GR-75 as it prepares to go to light speed. The transport cannot make a course correction and crashes straight into the hull of the Star Destroyer, not even causing a scratch to the destroyer.
All squadron leaders reporting!
Admiral, this is Blue Leader standing by.
This is Gold Leader, standing by.
This is Red Leader, standing by.
Multiple rebel fighter craft participated in the Battle of Scarif. Admiral Radis ordered all squadron leaders to report and assign them duties upon the fleet's arrival. Over 40 T-65B X-Wing starfighters took part. Both Blue Squadron and Red Squadron were present during the engagement. Under the command of General Anton Merrick and the call sign of Blue Leader, the X-Wing Squadron was tasked with penetrating the Scarif shield gate and providing air support as well as infantry reinforcements to the rebel forces on the ground. Only 1 U-Wing and 12 X-Wings, including General Merrick, made it to the surface of Scarif. Blue 7 and another X-Wing pilot crashed into the shield gate when it was shut. However, Blue 4 and Blue 3, along with another X-Wing pilot, managed to avoid the shield closure and assisted the rebel fleet above. Most of the Blue Squadron was killed in action during the battle, leaving the squadron unable to take part in the assault on the Death Star. Red Squadron was under the command of Commander Garvin Drace and would participate in the battle with X-Wings. While Blue Squadron was assigned to the surface, Red Squadron, Green Squadron and Gold Squadron would start attacking the shield gate, taking on countless TIE fighters and eventually engaging the Imperial Star Destroyers. Red 5 was killed in action, along with another pilot. Captain John Vander led Gold Squadron, which consisted of BTL A4 Y-Wing assault starfighter bombers that would be instrumental in causing the destruction of the Imperial Star Destroyers protecting Scariff. At least 3 Y-Wings were lost in the battle. Green Squadron's X-Wings would take part in the engagement. It's not recorded how the squadron fared, but given they would later take part in the Battle of Yavin with 10 X-Wings, it is presumed they survived with minimal losses during the engagement. 2 UT-60D U-Wing Starfighter support craft took part in the battle. One of these was Blue 11, attached to Blue Squadron, and would make it through the Scariff shield gate before it was closed. Blue 11 deployed additional troop reinforcements to the Rogue One ground forces alongside her X-Wing squadron mates. Unfortunately, the U-Wing was shot down during the air engagement and crashed into the ground. Of course, we left one of the most iconic Rebel starships to last. One modified VCX-100 light freighter took part in the Battle of Scarif. This was known as the Ghost. It was captained by General Hera Syndulla. The Ghost came in at a length of 43.9 meters, a width of 34.2 meters, and a height of 14.5 meters. It was armed with one dorsal laser cannon turret, one nose laser cannon turret, one twin laser cannon, one dorsal laser turret, and 2 proton torpedo launchers, as well as complemented with a shuttle known as the Phantom II. The Ghost arrived at Scariff along with Raddus and the Rebel fleet. During the battle, we can see the Ghost covering Profundity's bridge from enemy fire, as well as destroying at least one TIE fighter in the process. The Ghost successfully retreated at the end of the battle before the arrival of Darth Vader and the Devastator. Multiple Imperial fighter craft would engage the Rebel forces. While no number confirms the exact amount, we know that TIE Space Superiority starfighters would engage forces in space. However, one TIE Reaper attack lander transported Imperial Death Troopers to the ground, and they were escorted by a complement of TIE SK-X1 Experimental Air Superiority fighters. During the later stage of the battle, 2 TIE boarding craft were present alongside Lord Vader's Lambda-class T4A shuttle.
Sir, those are rebel ships! Get Admiral Gore, immediately!
Initially, 2 Imperial Star Destroyers took part in the Battle of Scarif. These were the Imperial 1-class Star Destroyers who made up the defense fleet that protected Scariff's shield gate. Both the Persecutor and the Intimidator were caught by the surprise arrival of the Alliance fleet, and quickly responded by engaging the ships. Both Star Destroyers would launch their complement of TIE fighters to engage with Rebel ships, and be backed up from the shield gate's own TIE fighter garrison. An Imperial 1-class Star Destroyer came in at a length of 1,652 meters, with a width of 985.17 meters and a height of 455.40 meters. It was propelled by 3 Destroyer I ion engines and 4 Gemini 4 ion engines. Tactical system-wise, 2 ISD-72X shield generated domes were located on top of the bridge structure. Offensive systems were made up of 60 XX-8 heavy turbolaser batteries, 60 NK-7 ion cannons, 6 dual heavy turbolaser turrets, 2 dual heavy ion turrets, 2 quad heavy turbolasers, 3 triple medium lasers, 2 medium turbolasers, and a complement of heavy Q7 tractor beam projectors. While initially targeting the Imperial shield gate structure in order to allow the transmission from Rogue One through and deploy more reinforcements, the Rebel fleet eventually was ordered to engage with Imperial Star Destroyers. Rebel Gold leaders successfully disabled the Star Destroyer Persecutor with ion torpedoes. This gave Admiral Raddus an idea. He ordered a Hammerhead Corvette to ram the Star Destroyer Persecutor. As mentioned earlier, the Lightmaker successfully rammed the Persecutor and pushed the disabled Star Destroyer into a collision course with the Star Destroyer Intimidator. Admiral Gorn of the Intimidator tried in vain to reverse engines to avoid the collision, but it was too late. The Star Destroyers collided as the Persecutor sheared through the many upper decks of the Intimidator. The destroyers eventually broke apart from the heavy damage and fell towards the planet below, taking the orbital docking station that controlled the deflector shield. The third Imperial Star Destroyer to arrive was the Devastator, under the command of Lord Vader. It arrived just as the Alliance received the Death Star schematics. While the Alliance fleet had begun jumping, several ships escaping, the Devastator suddenly emerged from hyperspace. Some Rebel craft managed to avoid it, but a GR-75 transport was destroyed as it crashed into the hull of the mighty Star Destroyer. With the arrival of the Devastator, the remaining Rebel fleet was caught by surprise and quickly defeated. Vader's flagship made light work of one unfortunate Nebulon-B, caught in the barrage and split it in half under the Star Destroyer's firepower. The Devastator targeted the Rebel flagship Profundity and crippled the ship. While technically not a ship, the Death Star is classed as a mobile battle station, so for the sake of argument, we'll include it in this video. At a width of 160 kilometers, the mighty DS-1 Death Star mobile battle station arrived in the closing parts of the Battle of Scarif. Just as the Rebel fleet received the transmission of the plans, the Death Star arrived and chose to ignore the Rebel fleet, and instead targeted the Citadel base on Scarif with a single reactor ignition. The battle station fired and hit the surface of Scarif, while also taking out part of the Citadel, causing everyone on the ground base, along with the Imperial security complex, to be vaporized with the monumental after effects of the impact. While a heavy loss, with almost all Rebel capital starships being destroyed and numerous fighters being lost, the Battle of Scarif is regarded as the first major victory of the Rebel Alliance in their war against the Galactic Empire. The Death Star plans would go on to be used to destroy the first Death Star. Meanwhile, the engagement and loss of the plans was seen as a complete embarrassment for the Imperial forces, along with the loss of 2 Star Destroyers and the destruction of Scariff base. Unfortunately, with these sorts of battles, we never have a full count of the ships actually taking part. I wish we did, as that would be pretty cool, but it can create issues in the storytelling. Still, I think the story could give names to some of the CR90 Corvettes or the other Hammerhead Corvette that was present. So that's our breakdown of every ship of the Battle of Scarif in the Star Wars universe. It's an impressive list and perhaps one of the best battles in the Star Wars universe. To continue the Star Wars adventures, check out our Star Wars Starship playlist on the end screen now. Remember to subscribe for more videos in the Hangar Bay. That's the end of this video. I've been Captain Jack in the Hangar Bay. Remember, if you're talking about science fiction, we want to hear about it.